setting up the presentation is very critical. Now, setting up the presentation is going to be your foundation on the steps you're going to follow before you start discussing prices. Now, this is after you qualified, well, after you greeted the customer, after you qualified, after you bridged over, after you went to the underwriter and the underwriter gave you the options. You're going to introduce the setting up the presentation. Now, before you go to the underwriter, you need to put your presentation first so that the underwriter could confirm and determine if you're on the right track. Now, I'm going to give you two possible methods of closing a deal, two scenarios, two approaches, two routes. There's no more than this, okay? Number one, if the customer does not have insurance, if they absolutely do not have insurance, then your goal is to give them something similar or more affordable than whatever they were paying before. So that means you need to qualify the customer, you need to determine all that information. So by the time you give them options, you know exactly how to set up your presentation. So most likely you're going to use the loss ratio. You're going to re-quote them with the previous company. You're going to introduce the concept of shopping around. You're going to offer coverages, the explanation of coverages. You're going to use the justifying factors, okay? And then you're going to add urgency. You're going to make it realistic by using real life examples, making it tangible. So this is the same process on every single one of them. The only difference is maybe the details of the information, but the concept, the topics are the same. The second one, if they have insurance. Now, if they have insurance, it's simply two sub routes for these for this scenario. Now, simply, if they have insurance, it's either going to be a can-be rate, which is one, or we have something more affordable. Okay, now if it's a can-be rate, let's talk about can-be rate. You need to call and get a deck page. You need to confirm 100% that the information that they have is accurate. Okay, you're going to evaluate that information to see if everything matches to the information that we have. Now, if it's a can-be rate, we're going to try to sell them more coverages. We're going to try to use service. We're going to try to find an avenue, a window that we could use to convince them on switching over. Now, those details we're not discussing right now. But for a can-be rate, that's the only route, the only option that we have. We need to sell them something better than what they have. Now, only because the rate is lower or similar, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not willing to make a decision. We just need to sell them a reason. Maybe better coverages, maybe better service. You have to qualify and determine what area we could use to convince them. Now, if we have something lower, it's simple. If we have something lower, we're going to introduce the value of making a decision with us, making the quote realistic. We're going to introduce savings. We're going to keep emphasizing on your service, okay? And you're going to use justifying factors, and you're going to give them the option. Now, you have to understand there's no other avenues besides these two main avenues. If they don't have insurance, you're going to help them by giving them something more affordable, giving them better service, better coverages than whatever they had before. If they have insurance, it's either going to be a can-be rate and you're going to try to sell them on better service or something, better coverages, or if we have something cheaper, then we're going to convince them on savings. That's pretty much all it is. So don't make it more complicated. There's no 500-600 different solutions for these customers. It's simply no insurance or insurance. If they have insurance, a can-be rate, or we could save them money. If they don't have insurance, then it's all about giving them the lowest, most affordable, best service, and that's pretty much it. So setting up the presentation, simply you have to understand the situation of the customer and how to sell them a policy. Once again, it's either they have insurance or they don't. So it's pretty simple. So get committed on this. Understand the concept of only those two different routes. There's a lot of sub levels of each main category, but it's pretty simple.